Doctor Who, The Trial of the Time Lord 1, The Mysterious Planet, the 8th story of the 6th Doctor, is written by Robert Holmes and starring Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant. Where do I begin? There's been a lot of changes when it comes to plans for season 23. The list of the original plans are The Nightmare Fair, where the Celestial Toymaker would return. Graham Williams wrote the novel of the script and got published by Target Books, but then got adapted into Big Finish for Doctor Who, The Lost Stories, The Ultimate Evil. Wally K. Daly wrote a novel and later got adapted to Big Finish. Mission to Magnus, where the Ice Warriors team up with Syl on the planet Magnus. The Doctor and Perry ruin their plans, having Ice Warriors betray Syl. Philip Martin wrote the script and got adapted to Big Finish. Yellow Fever and How to Cure It, where in Singapore there would have been Autons, either the Master or Ronnie would have appeared, and they would have brought Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart back. In The Hollows of Time, written by Christopher H. Bidmead, with Tractators making a return, but later got adapted into audio. The Children of January, written by Michael Feeney Callan, it was going to be adapted into audio play but got replaced by the Macros. In February 1985, BBC announced that Doctor Who Season 23 would be cancelled, but thanks to protests from the press and that Doctor Who in Distress song, the show got returned in September 1986. And I thought Doctor Who in Distress is pretty catchy. Doctor in Distress. Let's all answer his SOS. Doctor in Distress. Couldn't get over the fact that Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant, Anthony Ainley and Nicholas Courtney were in it as well. Sadly, the original plan for season 23 got ditched. So they did Doctor Who on Trial story, referencing the show being on trial at the BBC. Starting this story until survival location work were filmed on outside broadcast using tape. Instead of the usual 16mm film, the BBC got encouraged to replace film cameras with OB cameras since the early 1980s on the grounds, as it's cheaper mixing with studio shots material better. John Nathan Turner wanted to switch in OB shooting as early as season 19, Peter Davidson's first season, who got assistance from the directors working on the show at the time, so was overruled. When Dominic Lind got hired to do the music score, John Nathan Turner got him to include the opening music. And I absolutely love that theme. 1980s have fantastic musics. I love the opening with long shot of the Time Lord space station and the music played. Apparently it was the most expensive model shot from classic series. It costed more than £8,000. Wow! And the TARDIS dragged in was shot in film. So the Doctor went inside the court and met Valiod, who worried that the Doctor might have lost his way. The Inquisitor and the Time Lords came in and wondering what was the point of the trial. Even the Doctor was the president of Gallifrey, but he got deposed. So they looked on the screen where the Doctor and Perry arrived in the woods where they thought they're in Ravolox, and they're seen by Glitz and Dibber and about to shoot the Doctor, but luckily he moved just in time, and Glitz hate it when people gets lucky. As the Doctor and Perry are in the tunnel, they found out that they're in London in 2 million, which upset Perry, which is pretty emotional. As the Doctor left Perry, she gets taken by men in masks. Glitz and Dibber got taken to Katrika as they try to attack, but they get guns taken off them and locked up in the hut and watched by the Immortal robot. The Doctor went in Mob Station. The Doctor gets captured and chained up and questioned by Balazar. It's amusing that he called the Doctor the Old One, as they discuss about a few books like the ones written by Herman Melville. When the Doctor got untied, there's people throwing stones at him and uses his umbrella as a shield, which I like that scene. Even the Doctor sitting in a cult liked it. The intense moment is when Valiod suggests if the Doctor's found guilty, his life will be terminated. Uh-oh. At least the court deciding, and Valiod's opinion is different. So the Doctor gets taken to Immortal to work on stuff, and it notices that the Doctor is organic. Perry gets taken to Katrika, giving her a few husbands. Yeah, that's plural. So she gets locked up in the hut with Glitz and Dibber, talking about their wills and stuff. Through this part in the court, the Doctor and Inquisitor are really confused on what was the point the Valiard was making. So back at the Ravelocks, the Doctor electrocuted 2 men and the Immortal and got away. He took Balazar with him as Perry and Glitz and Dibber were getting escorted, so they outrun the guards and reunited with the Doctor. So the Doctor, Balazar, Perry, Glitz and Dibber went in the tunnel and got surrounded by a robot and the villagers. The Doctor thinks it could be the end. Pretty intense cliffhanger. I think Colin Baker is great as the 6th Doctor. His acting is spot on with his rage and rude, which is what amuses me, and I like his outfit, like Rainbow Clown kind of suit. In this season, his outfit looked a bit different with the red checkered vest and pink watch chains to save audience from being confused. The 6th Doctor may be bad-tempered in his first few stories, but in that defence, I think it's just to do with regeneration side effects. Taking time to get there. They're all great Doctors. I like Nicola Bryant as Perpigillion Brown, aka Perry, who's an American student who accidentally joined with the Doctor. She did well putting the American accent on, and I like how she prompts the Doctor what he should do and what he shouldn't do, and the Doctor's like, I'm not having that. Apparently her clothes is different compared to the ones that she often wears in the previous season, because it was considered as inappropriate for young viewers, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think she looks great. Tony Selby played Sabalon Glitz, who's from Salastifis, and he loves money. I really love that character. It's a shame that the actor is no longer with us. I was hoping to see Glitz again. The actors who were considered for the role are Brian Blessed, James Bolam, Roger Daltrey, Michael Gothard, Del Henney, Gareth Hunt, Alfred Lynch, and John Thor, but obviously went to Tony, who described the character as space equivalent of Arthur Daly from Minder, which I like that. Michael Jaston played the Valiard, who's actually dark alternative version of the Doctor between 12th and final incarnation, which is pretty cool development. I hope to see that character again. Linda Bellingham played Darkhull, or Darkhull Aquistras Trusted as a full name, who's often called the Inquisitor, who's a judge in Time Lord Court. L1 and Dratha, aka the Immortal, are created by Sleepers, which I thought they're pretty cool. Originally Roger Brierley was going to wear the Dratha costume but didn't fit him, so they got Paul McGuinness, special effects assistant, to wear it, and Roger just voicing him instead. Joan Sims played Katrika, who's the queen of the tribe of the Free in Ravelocks. Before Joan got casted, the actresses who were considered for the role are Linda Barron, Anna Blackman, Isla Blair, Jill Bennett, Brenda Bruce, Adrienne Corrie, Sheila Hancock, Janet Henfrey, Eartha Gitt, Rosemary Leach, Jean Marsh, Sean Phillips, Dinah Sheridan, Elizabeth Spriggs, Wanda Ventham, and Fiona Walker. Glenn Murphy played Dipper, who's a friend of Glitz. Tom Chapon played Merdine, who's a Dratho servant, and yes, that's the same actor who played Duggan in City of Death. Before Tom got casted as Merdine, the actors considered for the role are Tom Adams, Keith Barron, Haywell Bennett, Brian Blessed, Andrew Burt, Kenneth Colley, Peter Gilmore, Michael Gothard, Bernard Hill, Gareth Hunt, Paul Jericho, Clive Merrison, Paul Shelley, Anthony Valentine, Peter Vaughan, David Warner, and James Warwick. Adam Blackwood played Balazar, who's the reader of Books of Knowledge. David Rattigan played Broken Tooth, who's Queen Katrika's right-hand man. I don't know why he's called Broken Tooth. I guess his tooth is broken. What if none of his tooth broken? It should be called Broken Tooth, but not so broken, so thank God. Timothy Walker played Grell, a guard who saw Merdine helped people escape to the surface. Billy McCall and Cyan Tudor Owen played Humka and Tandrel, who are Dratha's servants. The cast did a great job. The sets, effects, and music by Dominic Glynn is brilliant. I love it. Luckily, Broken Tooth shot the robot, so the Doctor, Perry, Glitz, Dibber, and Balazar were taken to Katrika. The Doctor talks of working those lights. As Inquisitor in the court, reminds the Doctor that Valiant has every right to show further evidence. The Doctor ended up carried by L1 robots. But got disabled by Katrika and the villagers, so they ran off and Perry tried to help the doctor but Glitz thinks he's dead. Meanwhile, Katrika and the villagers hunt around in the underground. The doctor and Perry went back into Mob Station and Merdine came and said to the doctor that it's you who the villagers are hunting, so he fired a gun and it hit Grell as it was actually him he's hunting. So he died. Katrika and Broken Tooth are killed. So Glitz and Dibber walked around with those big guns. The doctor goes to see Dratha and explains to him about the differences between understanding and knowing. He tried to explain to him how valuable that lives are. They have many purposes. And it's great seeing you realise that Colin Baker is actually a great doctor. I know a lot of people don't like him because of the script he's given to, but mistakes happen. I enjoy the argument between the Doctor and Valiard and calling Valiard names like Scrapyard and stuff. It's pretty funny. So Perry, Merdine, Glitz and Dipper were in the vent where there's lasers. So they broke through the wall where the Doctor and Dratha are. So the Doctor got them out and dialing the controls to cause Dratha and the room to explode. With Balazar got splattered by a green slime. So the Doctor and Perry made a farewell and suggested to Balazar and Merdine to start again. Yes, I like the old one moment, as Perry thought it was cute and the Doctor is thinking that there's an evil streak in her. Tandrol and Humka are loving the smell of fresh air. Glitz and Dibber got hold of piece of black light converter, Ariel hardest known metal in the galaxy, and very expensive. So back at the court, apparently the Valiard hasn't started his presentation yet, and said when he's finished, the court will demand the Doctor's life. Uh-oh.
And when I have finished, this court will demand your life.
I actually enjoyed this story. It's such a shame that it's been hated. There's other plans for season 23, but had to be cancelled because they were too expensive. So there's Dark Labyrinth, written by David Banks, where the Doctor and Perry meets the Master in ancient Crete, and the Cybermen were going to be in it. Doomrafts, written by Philip Martin, where an alien race returns to Earth and finds out the human experiment fails. TARDIS gave the Doctor a warning about that there's a Time Lord about to regenerate nearby. Rafts planned to repopulate Earth with themselves, but ended up getting themselves destroyed, but their legacy is on another planet, which sounds pretty interesting. Flipback, written by David Banks. Gallifrey, written by Pip and Jane Baker, where Gallifrey gets destroyed and showing the Doctor's feelings of losing his people. Iceberg, written by David Banks, where he's also going to play Cyber Leader. League of the Tancreeds, written by Peter Grimwade, later used that story for Birthright, written by Nigel Robinson. Meltdown, written by Gary Hopkins, where the Doctor meets Victoria Waterfield again, fighting against nuclear waste, but it got adapted to Big Finish as Power Play. Point of Entry, written by Barbara Glegg, where the Doctor and Perry goes to Elizabeth in London because of Omniman returning with Aztec knife. They would have got Christopher Marlowe in it. The ones cancelled because it needed more work are Space Sargasso, written by Philip Martin, where the Master controlled the TARDIS and pulled into a graveyard, but there was a Big Finish where Reese is an Auton called Sargasso. Valley of Shadows, written by Philip Martin, where the Doctor has to travel to Egypt's underworld to save Perry. There's also two stories which I don't know what happens in them. One of them written by Bill Pritchard, and the other one written by Jonathan Wolfman. So, what did you think of The Trial of the Time Lord, Part 1 to 4, aka The Mysterious Planet? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. A positive opinion would be nice. Like I said, yous are all allowed your own opinion. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.